Hello everyone. Today you're going to be finishing up your Athens Democracy DBQ assignment by writing a paragraph. So go ahead and start by opening that assignment up, the Athens Democracy DBQ. Pause the video until you have it open and then come back ready to go. Our target is to look at the context and draw conclusions from identities, beliefs, and practices of people in ancient Greece. Remember, the practice is democracy. The identities of people is like, are you a man or a woman? Are you a slave? Are you a citizen or an immigrant? All those things. So make connections between those ideas and you'll be meeting that target. What our focus is going to be mostly on today, as I'm giving you instructions, is how to make and support a claim using clear reasons, relevant evidence, and credible sources. And to do that, you're going to answer our essential question: did Athens really have a democracy? First thing you need to do is you need to have a claim statement. And so hopefully you already have chosen your position. We talked about it in class a few times. So make sure you have it written down. Once again, we are on the assignment called Athens Democracy DBQ. I am down below the place where we took notes and everything else, looking at the ACES paragraph graphic organizer, and I'm going to be writing my claim statement right here. And when I write a claim statement, I need to have a few things in it. I need to first of all make sure that it has my position, and that needs to include the topic. And so I'm going to use keywords from the question, keywords like Athens and democracy. So make sure your claim statement includes those words as well. You are welcome to use one of the sentence starters right here. Please pause the video and write that down now before we go on. Now that you have finished writing the opening that gives the topic and answers the question with either Athens did have democracy or Athens did not, you need to come up with your reason. And that should be based on the definition of democracy. So choose one of these that you are going to write about that Athens either did or did not have. You need to be able to explain how you know that Athens did or did not have that. So make sure it's one you understand. Here are some examples. If you're saying Athens did not have democracy, you might say that not all people had rights. And you can talk about women and slaves and immigrants. If you are saying that Athens did have democracy, you might say all citizens were equal, looking at equality. And so both of those are examples where I chose one of these and just used a key word from it. For equal, I changed equality to equal, but that's the same basic key word. Go ahead and finish that, pause the video, and then continue on when you have finished writing your whole claim statement and put a period at the end. Now that you've finished the claim statement, you should have one sentence written in the answer box of your graphic organizer. Now we're going to go on to the cite box. And so to cite evidence from the documents, this is basically citing the text like you do in language arts. So it provides evidence for our claim. We're going to first of all choose a sentence or piece of information from document A or document B that supports our claim. So going over to here. So you should have your claim statement written out. It should have a because or since, some transition word like that in it with a reason. So now I'm looking for something about my reason. So if I said that Athens did not have democracy because it was not equal, then I would probably choose to use something from here from document B, where it talks about how men could vote, but not women, children, medics, or slaves. So maybe I want to talk about all the people that can't vote. So what I would do then is I'd come down here into the box and it says according to, and it says insert the last name of the author of the source here. So I'm going to look back up. Document B was written by Professor Josiah Ober. So I need to at least put Ober there. I can put in his whole name if you want. So you can say Professor Josiah Ober, and then you can delete these gray instruction words. And now we're ready to cite our source. So I'm going to come back over here just to so you can see in writing what I just did. I chose the information. I know what I want to use. Then I had to introduce the evidence with the phrase like, according to Professor Josiah Ober, or according to Pericles. You could also say, Pericles said. If you prefer that, that's fine. Now that I've gotten the introduction done, I need to figure out how I'm going to write the information. If you're using something from document A from Pericles, you can quote it by copying and pasting his words. And then you use quotation marks. But since I am using from document B right now, I'm going to paraphrase that, and I'm not going to use quotation marks. So to paraphrase means to put it in my own words. So I'm going to look back up here, and I think, okay, how do I put this into a sentence? So I'm going to say, let's see, according to Josiah Ober, women, children, medics, and slaves could not vote. Now, I could talk about other things here. I could add up all those percentages and say what percentage of the population could not vote. I'm going to guess that adds up to 88, but I actually haven't added it today, so not sure. But there are several ways you could write this, but I would say women, children, medics, and slaves could not vote in Athens. And that is all I'm going to put in my cite, because that's all that was in the document. So that is what the document says. If you want to add more, that's probably going to go in the explain box, because the explain box is the place to put your thoughts and give more details about it. The things we talked about in class, the things we learned about when we talked about Athens and Sparta, those would go into the explain box because they are not citing a source like we just did. So before you go on with the explain, go ahead and fill in your cite box with the name of the source, name of the author that you're getting the information from, and the information from the document. Now that you have hopefully finished that, it is time to go on to explain. And the explain, like I said before, is your thoughts. Imagine you are talking to maybe your parents, maybe a younger brother or sister, or if you can't think of anybody else, you can picture you're talking to my mom. She's in her 70s. It's been a very long time since she was in 6th grade. And so she does not know much of anything about ancient Athens government anymore. And so you need to explain it as if she doesn't remember anything, because she probably doesn't. So, about that. She remembers a lot of other things. So, you need to explain it from the beginning. So, explain it clearly. This might take more than one sentence here. Often the best ones have 2 or 3 sentences. If you go beyond 3, you might be getting too much, or you might be just kind of meandering. So, try to get your ideas and your thoughts scrunched down into a few sentences, because then it'll probably be the most clear. Put in the most important information here. There we go. So, here's an example of a good explain. Athens' constitution was written for the many, meaning it was written for all the people. A male citizen who turned 18 could vote. And so going back to some of that information, it's just fine to look back at your Athens and Sparta assignment if you need to find some more information about people of Athens, if that's what you need to make your explain clear. But make sure you're putting in your thoughts. I can tell these are not your thoughts. I can tell that those were written by a teacher. Make sure they're your thoughts and not from the internet or from a teacher. When you have finished explaining your ideas and explaining how the example that you cited, the document you cited, supports your claim, then you can come back to the video. But for right now, pause it and finish the explain box. There's one last piece to put together, and that is the summary. So, there's a good sentence starter here on this slide. As you can see, Athens did not have a true democracy because, or Athens did have a true democracy since. So, you finish that sentence. If you have another idea of how to wrap up your paragraph, that is just fine. You can wrap it up however it feels good to you, but if you are stuck, feel free to use that sentence starter. When you have finished that, then come back and I will show you one last thing to do here on your assignment. So, now that you've filled in your whole graphic organizer, you are going to be working on typing it all into one paragraph. So you're going to start with your claim statement. And you're just going to type that out. I'm going to type out my claim statement here. There we go. There's my claim statement. I'm going to press the space bar, and now I'm going to do the cite, which is something like this. Isn't my essay lovely? I have a period at the end of that one. I press the space bar. I go on to explain. There's the end of my explain. And now I go on to the summary. And I'm done. So all I did was I went through each box one at a time. Now you need to make sure it's the actual words. I should not see this random letter stuff. But you can see how it should look where it all flows from one sentence to the next and looks like a paragraph you would read in a book. You are welcome to do some copying and pasting. You don't have to retype all of it, but make sure that you read through it out loud. That both helps you catch your mistakes and also helps you see where you might maybe need to add another word or explain something a little bit more. When you have read through it out loud, you are satisfied with it, then you are finished and you can turn this one in. For today, after you have finished that one, also please go back and take a look and make sure you have finished up your Athens and Sparta. You can look to see if I gave you feedback and correct that if I gave you some feedback that is asking for a correction. If you have any questions, feel free to email me and I will try to get back with you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.